Sure, it'll be fun, I said, trying my best to please him. I was dreading it. I wasn't used to spending time with Papai. Before my maid died, he was never around, always at the surgery, hammering noses into shape, stuffing breasts with silicone and tightening faces. When I remember Mamai, though, I always think of her at home, talking to the maids, eating lunch with us, her jewelry jangling as she ate, swishing her long black hair over our shoulders as she kissed us, chatting about parties, people, and her shop where she sold northeastern folk art to tourists. But this was our new life. Might as well get used to it. At least Luana was coming. By December, the hell of summer was back, and with it, the long school holidays. Papai shut the surgery and we caught a plane north. There were 4 of us, me, Papai, Tiago, and Luana. Rita stayed at home to look after Fifi, our cat. Really, she had been Mamai's pet. Her real name was Filia, which means daughter, but only Mamai called her that. Since the accident, Fifi had lost her mind, gone on hunger strike and punched out razored paws when we tried to stroke her. Belém is the Portuguese word for Bethlehem, but those long-dead explorers from the old world must have named it when it was abundant, full of hope. In 1985, it was a city of broken pavements, colonial buildings gone green and mossy, torrential rain and burning sun. The people were shorter and darker than in Rio, with small eyes like me and Papai. Tiago was more like Mamai, spindly and white. It took only seconds to sweat through a fresh set of clothes. We stayed at a cracked, pale yellow colonial house with tall shuttered windows near the Para River, the southern part of the Amazon, where it meets the Atlantic. The house belonged to one of Papai's cousins, Eduardo, who had moved to Miami. It was half empty, ready to be sold, and the air conditioning was broken. Meu Deus, said Papai over breakfast on our first morning in Belém. He took a bite out of a bread roll as sweat trickled down the sides of his face. I just had a shower and look at me. André, where's your brother? Still in bed? The sun flickered through the closed shutters. I could barely see the food on my plate. My glasses were slipping down my sweaty nose. Papai's was slipping too. Can't we turn the lights on? I said. No, it's too hot for lights. Luana came in, holding a plate of sliced fruit. Her curly hair was scraped into a bun and she was dressed casually, in knee-length shorts and a t-shirt. Not like Rita, who always wore a starched white uniform. Even in the gloom, I could see a light sweat on Luana's forehead. I had started to notice her, after many years of not noticing. The new curve of her waist, her green eyes, her doce de leche skin. Suddenly there was a beautiful girl living with us, as though Rita's skinny, quiet child had been replaced. Between infancy and adolescence, we had sometimes played together like friends. I still have a photograph of Rita holding us on our balcony in Rio, one toddler on each knee, with Fifi, a kitten then, on the floor. On the back, in my mother's curled handwriting, André, Luana, Rita e Filia, Abril 1971. Since then, a distance had grown between us. A silent acknowledgement that we were not the same. She had left school to work for us full-time, even though she was a good student. What do you think, Luana? I said. Is it too hot to turn the lights on? She put the plate down in the middle of the table, smiled in that mysterious, closed-mouth way she'd recently taken to, and said, Whatever Dr. Mateus prefers. Papai gave me a smug look and mopped the sweat from his forehead with a napkin. She walked out of the dining room back to the kitchen. My relationship with Rita was less complicated. I loved her completely. She was dark and stocky, strong as a tree, with a northeastern accent that had faded over the years.